Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to a brand new league racing video. As you guys can see, we're back on Bahrain again. This time for another league. We do PSGL and WOR this season. As PSGL was round 1 around Bahrain as well, and WOR the same. The calendars won't be the same, but I think this is just coincidence and the fact that Bahrain is usually round 1, just like in real F1. So, bit of a shame that we're driving again on Bahrain. I would love to try out some other tracks as well than just Bahrain. But at least we can apply what we've learned in PSGL today. And that is nice to do as well. This is Q1 at the moment. After PSGL, my brake pedal broke again. So I had to put on a new one again, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I'm trying other stuff with the pedal in order to prevent it from breaking again. But if you don't know what the cause is, then yeah, there's not much you can do, of course. But yeah, Q1 here today, WR, round 1. We did WR on F1 22 as well, where we won the title. I didn't compete in the season afterwards, but of course this season we're gonna try and win the championship once again, just like we did in the last season we participated in. And as you can hear me say there, I had a stinker. That was our first Q1 lap, which was a lot worse than we did in PSL. So we had to go out again and improve on the second run. And you can see we were more than 2 tenths up. I took the final corner very carefully, making sure that I was not taking any track limits to avoid getting knocked out in Q1. As you can see there, Chana Kinsey, which is called Nemesis Prime, is out. Piotr Stachelek was out. Dylan Warren was out. So yeah, 15 people remaining to go into Q3 here. This is our first Q2 lap. The delta you can see in the top right is from used tires. And across the line we go. It is P1, and that was a good lap. And that's definitely going to be enough to get into Q3. So we're going to be saving a new set of tires for Q3, which is very nice, very handy. You can see Jake has gone through by 2/100ths of a second. And this is our first Q3 lap, which is a new set of tires. But it hasn't been the greatest of laps. Now, of course, it's going to be faster than used tires, so that's still nice. And we put it into P4. I think Max Wissel, Fabrizio Donoso, and Alvaro Caraton, who is currently P1, were all new tires. They saved the set in Q1 or Q2. So we need to improve by quite a margin. That last lap was not good. In PSGL we did a 0.27, if I remember correctly. Pole was a 0.18, and into turn 1 we go. 200s down, but much better exit than previously, and we are half a tenth up already going into turn 4. More than half a tenth up actually, as we brake hard for turn 4 down to 4th gear and trying to get a better exit than previously. Bit of a moment, which costed us a little bit of momentum, but you can see there we're 1.7 tenths up on Fabrizio Donoso, which means our previous sector 1 was good as well, and it also means there's a lot more time to find in the middle sector. Again, half a tenth gain through turn 8 there into turn 10. This one is always so tricky, very easy to lock up the front or lose the back end, and once again half a tenth gain through turn 10. Can we find more time in turn 11 and in the last sector? Because we need to if we want to get pole position. Turn 11 looks good, bit of a wiggle on the exit, but we've gained time. Tomek with a 0.23, fastest currently with that pole position. We're 1.7 tenths still up on Fabrizio Donoso. It's a good middle split, 2 tenths up as we head into the final corner of the track. Now, our previous last corner was not that great, so there's still time to find. And again, bit of a hesitation, clattered over the inside curb and lost another 300. Is it enough for pole position though? It is. There's still 3 people to cross the line, but most people have finished their lap. Jake has invalidated, and
yeah, I've just got to laugh at what I just did.
It is our first pole position in over a year in league racing. I can't believe it. It's been so long. I think the last time we had pole position in a league race was Jeddah PSGL F1 2021, where we got pole position in dry and then won the race by I think, almost 10 seconds. And we're finally back with a pole position. Even though it was not a great lap, I'm just happy that we finally got a pole position again. It has been so long, over a year. And
We're still formation lap.
on to the race we go. Now you can see I've opted for a different strategy to PSGL. Everyone is on hards. We've gone for mediums. Now the Alfa Romeos in PSGL went for mediums as well, which did not work. But of course this is also just practice for F1 Esports. So last time we did hard medium. This time I felt like, you know what, we're just gonna go for medium hard. Do the opposite to what we did last time. And yeah, try something else. See if we can learn something extra. Our strategy last time out did not quite work. And we're going to try and make this one work for sure. Tomac in the Ferrari next to me on the hards. And basically everyone, as far as I can see back, is on the hards. So we've gone for a complete alternate strategy to the rest of the field. There's going to be 5 red lights. And away we go for round 1 of WOR around Bahrain. It's a good start for us off the line. However, Tomac on those hards got a really good start as well. We cover off the inside and we keep P1 for now. Now, on those mediums, we have to make them work fast. We need to break the DRS if we want to make this strategy work as soon as possible. So I'm going to be pushing it to the absolute limit straight away in the first 3 laps of this race. Because after that, the DRS will be activated, and if Tomac is still within 1 second, we're gonna be in big trouble. So we cannot have that happen, and we need to make sure that we break that 1 second window and extend the gap further throughout this first stint. And you can see thus far we've already pulled half a second. Now Tomac is obviously gonna want to prevent us from getting out of the DRS, and he's gonna be pushing as well to make sure he stays within that 1 second window. Now it is a very tricky situation, because if we do not manage to get out of DRS, we have wasted a whole lot of ERS, the battery system, and a whole lot of tire life. So we need to make sure that we play this right, and if we notice that we cannot pull out of 1 second, out of the 1 second window, then we need to make sure we recharge our battery and basically stop pushing as soon as possible. But thus far it is looking good, and we're extending the gap to 8 tenths in a single lap. So very good opening lap there. You can see Tomac is closing in into turn 1, which shows to me that he has pushed with his ERS more, and we should have more battery for the next 2 laps basically. So that is a very good sign for me. Through turn 1, 2 and 3 we go. 9.5 tenths up. The top left HUD is a little bit small, so I struggle seeing it in my editing software, but of course it's to avoid that it's blocking my apex view in TV pod camera. And yeah, so far 1.1 seconds into turn 10 we go. Now this corner is a very mechanical grip reliant, hard traction zone, and you can see there we gained even more time. Looks like Tomac has given up on it, and we are definitely out of DRS. Fabrizio up to P2 now, Tomac in P3. So a virtual safety car actually right there, which is good for us, because now we can recharge our battery a little bit, which we've used so aggressively.
Oh, there's 3 cars.
Incident at the back, yeah.
Which you've used so aggressively in the first few laps. So the gap was around 2 seconds when the virtual safety car deployed, and you can see that the gap into the final corner was, or the delta was almost 3 seconds, and then it closed by 2 seconds. So that was a bit scary, because you have to basically stay green at all times. And as I crossed the line, the delta jumped up an extra second, and I got surprised by it, that the virtual safety car ended that fast as well. So yeah, we basically lost 3 seconds, but looking back to the delta in the top left, the rest was surprised as well, because we only lost 4 tenths to Fabrizio, and it's a bit of a mess back there. You can see a lot of position changing. Tomac lost another 2 positions, and it looks like I wasn't the only one that was caught off guard by that virtual safety car ending so fast. However, it is something to keep in mind for the future, of course, that I need to be on the delta more. And yeah, that the delta can jump when you cross the start-finish line. But yeah, not ideal, because we potentially lost 3 seconds in this race, and this could change the end result for sure. So nothing we can do about it anymore now. We just have to get our head down and focus on increasing the gap once again. However, our mediums are not going to get any faster anymore compared to those hards. So the question is, can we keep this gap? And the answer to that is no. You can see 1 lap later, Alvaro closed the gap by almost a second. Which could be down to, of course, him using his battery a lot. I don't know. I couldn't see his battery. And yeah, I just accepted, you know what, we're gonna let him back in. I don't want to drain my battery again and being at risk of them still getting in my DRS later on in the stint, because that would really hurt us in terms of track position, probably later on. Of course, every single decision you make when it's like strategy related, it can have a huge butterfly effect in racing, and we need to avoid that. Now lap 9, yeah, I didn't have a lot of confidence into the final corner. Those mediums are starting to really struggle, and Alvaro is going to go for the move. We're not going to fight this too hard, because as I said in PSGL as well, ideally you're either in P1 or P2. It doesn't really matter if you're P1 or P2, especially at this stage of the race. It doesn't even matter if you're P3 or P4. Strategy is the main one, and yeah, we just have to play it smart. You can see I'm lifting coasting a little bit because I don't want to get too close to Alvaro. It's just unnecessary risk. Of course, with the DRS, you have a huge advantage on the straight anyway, so no need to be really close when you're gonna lose that time in the middle sector as well. Anyway, you can see the host has left the session. And Fabricio behind me now is.
Donut left the session.
And Fabricio now behind me is an AI car, so I need to be careful of that.
His end right now.
Okay, yeah, but someone let him know that I can't see him. I will kill him otherwise, if we're desynced. Someone has to let him know. Because I have not killed him already.
He has just spun with Otis.
Oh. I think Otis at the same to the front.
So yeah, Fabricio now out of the race. Because he got desynced to other cars. Because the host left the session. I think many people remember the incident I had with David Nitsa on the Canada race on F1 2020, where we had desync as well. This was a similar scenario, so Otis could not see Fab on his screen,
no way
or
to Jake now because he's been on that one.
He was not in the same position as Otis was, and yeah, that's how Fab got taken out, and his race was basically over because of that. Very frustrating. Now we're gonna box. I decided to overtake Alvaro because I wanted to box that lap. Alvaro didn't fight it too hard because I think he was planning to extend anyway. We're gonna go onto the hards. Otis behind us boxing as well. He's going onto the mediums. So he's gonna have to do 16 laps on a set of medium tires. And we're gonna have to do 16 laps on the harder compound of tires. And Otis, of course, gambling on the undercut and also covering of the undercut, because with that VSC, a lot of people have boxed early onto hards, and they're gonna have to do a lot of laps on hards, and I doubt that they're gonna be fast until the end of the race. And we've gone out side by side with Tomek Paratsis and Danny Moreno for our new mediums.
When did they box? In their VSC or what?
1 lap before you.
Copy. Both Danny as well?
Yeah, let me just check. But yeah.
So both Tomek and Danny have gone for an insane undercut on the entire field, because I was leading the race, and this basically means that Tomek in this time is the realistic leader. Now of course there are people ahead of him who boxed under VSC.
Lap 12, Ika P8 on 8 lap old hards.
So yeah, as you can hear my engineer Ben say, that Ika has boxed under VSC, and I think is in a net P2. But of course, he is not going to be winning this race on that strategy.
ERS?
it is a big gamble that he took. Of course, if there's a later safety car, again, this strategy that Iker went on, and I think also Ulas, who is ahead of him and is the actual leader, that would work great that way, but it's a huge risk that probably won't work. And that's what I mean with Tomek is probably the realistic leader. And now
75 on exit pushing.
we need to push to get past Iker here into turn 1, and we're gonna go for a quadruple move into a triple move into turn 1. However, 3 wide into turn 1 is not a great idea, and I had to leave a little bit of space to Danny and kind of back out of the move just to be safe. Into turn 4 we go, into the realistic P2 we go, and that's exactly what we needed. We needed to get past Tomek there. We'll probably use a lot of ERS on the undercut and had to play it smart, not overuse his battery and get in trouble later on and lose much more positions than just the 2 or 3 that he just lost. So now we're right behind Danny, and that is Ulas in front, who is on those 9 laps.
Lost tires. 8 as well.
Same as Iker, yeah.
Yeah, so Ulas on 9 lap old hards now, and again, he's not going to be much of a challenge. His tires are much older than the rest of the grid basically, so he's going to be quite far out of the pace, and he's just going to be hoping for another safety car in the next few laps, I assume, or later on in this race. So we have to make sure that we get past him into turn 1 for sure. Now Danny is right behind him, and it's going to be an easy move for him, but me and Otis are going to have to push a little bit to make sure we get past. However,
ahead as well.
It looks like it's going to be pretty easy with the help of DRS. I was having a little look down the inside of Danny Moreno here, but as I said earlier on the video, P1 or P2 doesn't really matter for us. We just have to play the long game. Fabricio is an AI car ahead, and that's going to be a little bit sketchy maybe, as yeah, we don't know what that AI car is going to do, of course. Danny is ghosted with him, and I just try to avoid him. As you can hear me say, that is scary indeed. Now, Andrei Tarabukin on hards around 5 seconds ahead, and he's not going to be much of a challenge later on this race. Our teammate Jake Benham still has to box as well, so he's doing the opposite to us. He's going very long basically. We take the lead of the race. Into P1 we go. Nikos Longes had a fast lap of the race there at 30.5, and looks like he's on slightly fresher tires than us and also the cars behind us, so he might be coming relatively quickly, but I think the main threat at the moment is Alvaro Carreton, because he went, I think, longer than any front runner and is gaining fast on a new set of mediums, so we have to be careful of him. Of course, relative to us, he's only going to get slower because we are on the harder compound tire, but if he's gaining a second per lap, that advantage we have where our tires are going to get faster relative to his are really not going to matter that much. Now we've got up to Andrei Tarabukin, who's on very old hards. He was probably aiming to box at the end of this lap, but he made a few mistakes on this lap and just decided, you know what, I'm just going to get out of the way. I don't want to interfere with the lead battle, which is fair enough, you know. Of course, he wants to have a clean race. If he's not going to be fighting for points anyway, it's better to probably just stay out of trouble, you know, and avoid any penalties, which is just what he did there.
Otis
Now,
going for a move as well.
as you can hear me say, Otis going for a move as well, and I only had 50% ERS. I decided, you know what, if you guys both want to get through that bad, then go for it. A little bit of contact there, as I misjudged how far Otis was going to come over, and yeah, there's still going to be 11 laps to go, so Otis taking the lead now, as Otis has fresher tires than Danny, maybe has more ERS as well. Now, they are obviously working together, which I knew, but I felt like if I was going to use my ERS to defend from both of them, I was definitely not going to win the race. So I was, you know what, I'm going to sit back and save my battery a little bit for later. My advantage is only going to get bigger, and with the help of DRS, I'm going to be pressurizing them into using the tires, using their battery. As you can see, Danny seems to be struggling a little bit, and you can see me there use a bit of my battery to force them to go side by side here, force them to use their battery, and it's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. I decided to go around the outside, and I just couldn't quite pull it off. A little bit too late on the brakes. Might have been a slight bit of contact, but 3 wide into turn 1. What else do you expect? Again, into turn 4 we go. There's just not enough space to go 3 wide there. So a bit of a moment there, and Alvaro, who was probably our main threat in this race, has been tapped around and is now out of this race, out of the points. I think so. Of course, he might still get points as he's on really new mediums, but
lots of things.
yeah, his race is over and ruined. I think it was just the pack bunching up a little bit, me having the slide, and then yeah, a bit of a Constantina effect, I think it's called, where Nicolas didn't expect us to slow down that much and just tapped him around. Really unfortunate incident there. And into turn 1 once again we go. Both McLaren sliding around a little bit in turn 1 and turn 2, and I decided, you know what, I'm once again gonna pressurize them into having to go defensive here, and once again I had to back out of 3 wide into turn 4 we go. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go for switchback, but Nicolas almost hit us in the back, and we almost had the same ending as Alvaro there, as I just went for a very aggressive switchback, so I had to slow down the car a lot, and Nicolas just didn't see it coming. Now on to lap 26 we go. End of lap 26 we go. This is the time where we have to attack. This is the time where we have to get track position. And you can see we were so close to Otis and Danny that just with a little bit of ERS we got past Danny, and this is exactly what I needed. This is what I wanted, to be either in P1 or P2, as that is the position you have to be in to be fighting for the win. Now all we need to do is stay in P2 until either the second last lap or the last lap, depending how we feel like pace wise, but at the moment you can see how close we're following Otis around.
Let him cook.
And I was just confident that I was gonna get this win at this point. I felt like I had more grip. I had more ERS. I didn't know that at this time yet, but 72% battery is more than enough for a last lap shootout. So I felt like, you know what, if I can pass Otis into turn 1 without using any battery, then I can win this race. And I felt like I was gonna win that race. So Danny, of course, struggling a little bit as he boxed even a lap earlier than Otis on a set of mediums, and I felt like he wasn't gonna have the resources to fight for a win here anymore. And we have been a little bit lucky maybe that Alvaro got tapped around, because he had the freshest tires of everyone, and we might have had a little angel on her shoulder with that one. However, 2 laps to go, and this is where the final 2-lap shootout is gonna come into effect. DRS open. I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna use my battery into turn 1. I felt like Danny was using a little bit late on, so I tapped it just for a brief moment. I braked early to make sure we're gonna have DRS on the next straight. Into turn 2 we go, side by side with Otis. Both of us have marbles on our tire, and we're gonna take the lead into turn 4 for sure. I didn't even need to use a lot of my battery to pull that one off. And now we go into that middle sector, and we have more rubber left. Simple as that, we're gonna have more grip, so I can pull a big enough of a gap.
50.
With the help of my tires. Now we cannot afford to make any mistakes, and we have to push hard. And you could hear Ben, my engineer, say Otis on 50% battery, which means we even got a 20% advantage on the ERS. So Otis is gonna get DRS here on this little straight, which will minimize his damage and probably close him in a little bit, but we still get the ERS advantage and the tire advantage through the next 3 corners. We just need to open up the gap around 1/10 more in order to be safe into turn 1. 2 corners to go, and once again through the second last corner it's a 1/10 gain, and I reckon we need around 6/10 to be safe. So I decided to stop using ERS into the final corner there, but of course onto the main straight we're gonna go full force on the ERS button. And even though Otis has DRS and is enabling his overtake button, it looks like we're gonna be fine into turn 1. He could maybe send it, but yeah, it's just too far back. There's no point. Now, the only danger we have left is those 2 DRS zones, and we need to be hoping that Otis has used all of his ERS as well, because in PSGL, of course, I had around 30% more battery than Alvaro on that run into the final corner, and that's how I managed to pass him. And I had this in the back of my mind that I could not take it easy in the final few corners of the middle sector, because if Otis does have a 30% ERS advantage, we're still going to be in trouble into the final corner. However,
Otis ERS on DRS opening.
9.
as you can hear Ben say there, he does not have an ERS advantage. And for the first time in a while, we're going to be winning a league race again, because we have more than enough advantage. We've got a tire advantage. ERS is the same. And yeah, we played it to perfection. Of course, there were some hairy moments with wheel-to-wheel racing, which is always the case around Bahrain, with those 3 DRS zones and the big strategic differences. But it is going to be enough for P1. Last time I think I won a league race was also WOR around USA. And once again, we have won a league race.
Nice job, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
And it feels good to finally be able to win league races again. Because, of course, there were some freak races where I was able to take advantage of certain scenarios or wet races. But on F122, I felt like we would never be able to actually win a full dry race without any craziness. And today we did. Of course, Alvaro did get spun around, and we somehow managed to get back into P10 and still get a single point. It looks like we are actually back on F123. So, hope you guys enjoyed another Bahrain League Race video. Make sure to subscribe for more F123 content coming. More My Team My Team episodes coming. I'm sorry. More My Team episodes coming. More challenges. More tutorials. And see you guys next time. Ciao.